Good. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, let me see if I can. Is it okay? Flip it?
No, that's only going to get you upside down.
Okay, then I gotta do it this way. All right.
Awesome. Well, I like to always start a little bit just by telling people what I've been doing here for the past 3 months. For those that haven't watched the videos yet, I have a pretty big following here on Instagram, and I was thinking of different ways that I could help out our community. And one of the ways that I thought of doing was doing these live videos with local business owners like yourself, so that you can highlight your business, highlight your products, your services, and hopefully help you through the struggling economy that we're having, right?
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you doing this. This means a lot that you're helping out local businesses like that.
Sure, my pleasure. And it's been pretty fun. It's been very informative, and it's very nice to meet people and get to know what are the businesses and the people behind the businesses that kind of make our community, right? So it's been very fun for me as well. So that's what I've been doing, and that's what we'll be doing here. Before I bring it over to you, I just want to give a big shout out to this other local brand here, which is Happy Calm. It's a local clothing company here from Naples, and they've been kind of hooking me up with some nice gear here. I had a shirt yesterday, got a hat today, so just another way to help out another local company here as well. And I actually talked to them on Friday on my live as well. So, but that's enough about me. I actually wanted to, before we get into the business itself, I wanted to ask about you, a little bit about you. Who is Andrew? Where's he from? Is he from Naples? How did he end up in Naples? And what a little bit of your background, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, actually, I'm a rarity. I was born in Naples, and my mom and dad were also born in Naples.
Oh, nice.
So,
not a whole lot of you guys here.
no, my family has been here since 1950s, and so yeah, I guess you call us a Neapolitan. But anyway, yeah, I was born in Naples. Mom and dad got divorced when I was young, and my mom moved to Tampa. So I kind of grew up in Tampa, but my dad stayed down here in Naples. So I was always coming down here when I was a kid through my teenage years, always coming down to visit my dad. When I graduated high school in Tampa, I came down here, lived with my dad, went to FGCU. I did that for 4 years, graduated with a criminal justice degree, and that was in 2007. And that's when the recession started happening in 2007. So I was looking for jobs, and not much was, weren't many jobs in 2007. Collier County Sheriff's Department is what I was wanting to do, but they had a hiring freeze. Yeah. So, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she had some family out in Houston. So, hey, I called up the Houston Police Department, and they were hiring, and got right on with them. And 2007, we moved to Houston right after we graduated, and I became a Houston police officer. And so I did that for 7 years, 2007 and 2014. And while I was out there, I had another second full-time job where I was a director of security at a private school. And I learned a lot there as well with physical security, how to, the physical security of buildings, the locks, camera systems, access control systems, among other things. And so that's how I kind of got started in the physical security side of things. 2014, things were going good. And, but, I was working so many hours, and so was my wife, and our daughter was born. And so we said, well, let's think about how we can start getting back home to Naples. Because Houston, great city, but not a place where we wanted to raise kids. Yes. So we actually decided to look for a business to purchase. And we went online, took about a year to find the right business and to do it. But Locksmith was for sale. And negotiated with the owner, and we bought the business in 2014. And we just, put a fresh coat of paint on everything, on the website, literally paint in the showroom, put new floors down. We got new vehicles, new wraps, and revamped our online presence. And that's the story.
Awesome. So kind of moving a little bit away from your background and moving into the business, you think that your background in criminal justice and then being a police officer, it was something that kind of drove you to to go into this specific business, or it was a combination of the opportunity with having that background?
It was, as in Houston, as a police officer in Houston, the department gives you the opportunity to work extra second jobs. And because of my background as a police officer, that's how I got a job as director of security at that school. And so when I became the director of security, I had to learn real fast the physical security side of it. I had to learn how to, what kind of locks go on what kind of doors, and what kind of access control systems and what they are, and the fob systems and the camera systems. And so I had to learn that stuff. And so doing that for a couple of years, it kind of was something that came to me fairly easy and made sense in my mind. And I still wasn't a locksmith by any means, but I knew enough to get started in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I actually still to this day don't call myself a locksmith, because my guys are great. My guys are way more than I do about locksmithing. So, I can do the basics, but it's my guys are what make the company.
Awesome. So in 2014, you opened the business.
I bought it. Yeah.
And how was that transition from being I guess a cop at that point? You still were a cop, and being a cop into kind of owning your own business. I mean, it's very different working for someone, and then right. Having your own business. There's a lot more responsibility. So how was that transition?
Yeah, actually, in the back to the school job, I did have officers underneath me, and I hired security guards. So I did get some management skills that way as well. But oh yeah, it was definitely a different. I had to learn real fast that. I was always I know there's this persona about cops out there, how they're sometimes rude and everything. I was always the nice cop, the good cop. I was joking around with people, smiling all the time. So I always had a good personality. I mean, I would give someone a speeding ticket, and they would thank me, and they'd tell me a joke. And so I always had the persona of being a nice guy. So I always got along with people. So that wasn't the problem. It was just, the hardest part was learning how to handle the business side of the employees, the HR side of it, and learning. That was just a crash course in doing that stuff. I never had to deal with that before. The financials, never had to deal with that before. So the management part wasn't too bad. It was the things I never did before, the books, the HR, all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so the people, handling people, you had been doing that all your life, essentially. It's in dealing with people.
I wouldn't say handling, but yeah.
Yeah, well, but talking to people and
right.
You had that experience, but it was more the business aspect of it that you had to learn, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I kind of want to get a little bit into the business, but before I do, I wanted to tell so by trade, what I do, I'm an auditor, right? So I work for, currently I work for an insurance company, and I've worked for all different kinds of companies. So I totally understand, I have a bad reputation too for being an auditor, and the guy that comes in and, it's the bad guy that gets you and all that stuff. But I try to have that good personality and the good, approach people in a different way to show them that I'm trying to help them and not really, trying to hurt them more than,
right.
Exactly. I've been doing it for 14 years, and I think with that approach, you win people over, and they tend to understand, right? And like you said, sometimes I might even thank you for a speed ticket, and and as opposed to being mad.
I tried my hardest to get people to like me, and so it sometimes wasn't easy, but my goal.
Yeah, you can't. It is life, right? You can't always please everyone. Right. So I want to talk a little bit about the business, because, when you think of a locksmith, you think of someone obviously going to your door and change your locks, right? But from your business, from what I've seen from your posts and reading and a little bit about, you guys do a little bit more than that. So I kind of wanted to see if you could cover all the different services that you provide.
Yeah. So the very basics of locksmith, if you buy a new house, and when they hand the keys over to you, you have no idea how many other keys are out there, or their family members, the previous owner's family members. So what you always want to do at the very basic is have a locksmith come out and rekey the exterior doors, and that way no one else in the past who may have had a key can get into your house now. And so that's the very basic of our services, where we'll come out to your house, we'll take your locks apart. Still, it's the same lock, but we take the pins out, the internal pins out, put new pins in. The old keys no longer work, and we give you a set of new keys. And now you know you're the only one that has the keys to your house, and no one else does that. Outside of that, if you need new locks installed, if your locks are, the humidity and the salt weather in Southwest Florida, it corrodes locks. The finishes, especially like the chrome plated locks. If you don't like the looks of your locks, we'll go and measure and replace your locks if you want brand new locks, or if you need new locks installed on doors that don't have locks, we can drill the holes in the doors and do that. Locks are broken, we can come out and fix them. Anything to do with locks on doors, houses, and then the commercial side of it is a whole different ballgame, which we do as well. But with your house, your sliding doors, we'll add locks to those. If you have the standard sliding door locks with a little button that goes up and down, those really aren't secure. So we have additional locks that you can add onto those to make sure people actually can't break in, or keep kids, for maybe little ones going outside to the pool area or something, put the lock up high where they can't reach it. And then, another thing that we do for residents is we have 2 showrooms in Naples where we have safes. We sell safes. So I have everything from tiny little, handgun safes. If you have kids in your house and you have guns, get a safe. We have tiny little handgun safes that are, start at $40, $50. We have larger home safes that you can put, your files in, your passports, some jewelry that are, maybe a foot or 2 foot tall off the ground. Then we have the big gun safes that you can, that are taller than me. I'm 6'4". They get huge, and we have those as well. And so we will come, you pick up the safe you want, and we'll come and bring it to your house. We do everything. We bring it in, we bolt it down, show you how to program it. You don't have to lift a finger. And so you can just, choose which one you want in our showrooms, and we'll do it all for you. That's what we do for residential stuff. And, if you want to get in the commercial side, we can get into that as well.
Pretty much the same type, but obviously for businesses.
Yeah, with the commercial side, master key systems. They want a grand master key where the boss has the one key that works every door, and then maybe some sub keys where these employees only have access to these doors and some employees only have access to those doors. So we can set up grand master systems on large scale projects. Condo associations, they have, the condo manager has the one key that works every unit, and each unit has their own individual key. And so we'll do that. We'll fix all their locks, door closers, the push bars, all that stuff. Anything that goes on a door, we typically handle. Keypad locks, they have the new locks that connect to your Wi-Fi at home, and you can, on your phone, open, unlock, from anywhere in the world, as long as you have a cell phone signal. We install those, we program those for you. Same with businesses, access control systems. They have the wireless ones now. You can get an app for your phone as well.
Is that a common thing here in Southwest Florida, considering that people have a lot of homes that, they don't live in here, but they might need people to get into service or anything? Or
it's not as common in other cities because, the population down here is a little older.
Yeah.
And they don't like technology. And so they like the old-fashioned key. But, the younger generation there, of what's down here, they definitely go into the more high-tech stuff. But yeah, if you go to bigger cities, you'll see a lot more of those things.
Yeah, because I thought that would be a great way to kind of control who goes in and out, right? You have control.
Absolutely.
Phone, right? So.
Yep. And you can issue codes to certain people, and whoever entered that code, you give John 81234, and if 1234 was entered in your house, what time he entered, what time he left, everything. And so yeah.
Awesome. We talked a little bit when we talked a little bit on the phone that I wanted, and you already gave some of them, but I wanted you to be able to give some tips to the viewers and people that will view after, or certain things. One of the things I put a conversation started on my pages of something that you guys had posted. While you're home, does your lock have to be locked? Should you keep your lock? And I don't really know the answer for that, but I wanted to debate with you, and then also ask you for any other tips and things that families and people that live alone here can kind of do to kind of keep themselves protected as well, because I see you guys are always sharing that information. So
yeah, it's always great to have your locks locked even when you're at home, because I guess you just never, even though Southwest Florida, Naples is a safe place, you never know who's going to come and open your door. It's always have your locks locked. For people who are concerned, let's say you live in a condo association, you know that the manager or someone else has a master key. And sometimes managers are reckless with their keys and they'll hand it to contractors and they'll go make copies of it. So what some people do, and you have to get the permission of the condo first, is you can add additional locks to your door. Something we like to install is something called a blind bolt, which if you're familiar with a deadbolt, on the outside of the deadbolt is a key cylinder. On the inside is that thumb turn. You turn it one way and the bolt goes out. What a blind bolt is it eliminates the key portion altogether. All you have is the inside is a thumb turn. And so you can add that above. You can lock yourself in your house, and even if someone has a master key, when you're home, they can turn that bottom deadbolt all they want. That top deadbolt is locked, and they have no idea that it's even there because they can't see from the outside. And so that's only, hopefully, it's not somehow you can get out of the house with that locked, because if you're not home and that's locked, you're not getting in either. Yeah. So always make sure, just throwing that out there, that you unlock that lock when you're not at home. But some people do that a lot down here in the condo associations. They'll add a secondary lock because they're afraid the manager is not, a little reckless with the keys. If you live in a single family home, that's not necessary unless you are worried about, just want the extra security on your door. Other things you can do, again, that sliding door lock we recommend, because, the regular sliding door locks, you can lock them all you want, but if someone comes on the outside and they know how to do it, you can lift the door off the tracks with the lock still engaged, and we'll just pop it right off the latch. So we have extra locks that you can add that prevent that from happening, prevent someone from lifting it off. And they're very strong locks, so they're not going to be broken either. We always recommend those if you have the regular, cheap little sliding door lock on there. Some more advanced things you can do is on your front door, a deadbolt, the locks on the door are only as good as the door frame. So if you have a cheap door frame, a cheap wooden door frame, someone can kick in the door, the bolt is going to bust right through the frame will shatter, and the bolt will actually be just fine, and the door will be kicked open. So some things you can do to reinforce your frame, where the bolt goes into the frame, we call it the strike plate. You can put longer, like 3-inch screws, 4-inch screws into that strike plate that strengthen that area right there, that make it harder for someone to kick open. They have flush bolts, which are the bolts that kind of go down into the ground and up into the ceiling, that go into the frame up and down. You can add those as well, and that way if someone tries kicking in the door, not only is that bolt holding in the frame, but it's also holding in the floor and holding in your ceiling. So you can be assured that someone who's kicking that door, they got to defeat all 3 of those bolts before they'll kick it through. So
that might even be good for like hurricanes too, right? Because I'm imagine with strong winds could push those doors open as well.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah. The more anchor points you have, the floor, the frame, the ceiling, the stronger your door is. Some people are worried about, because the code now is, for hurricane reasons, that all doors have to open out. They don't open in anymore. That's not the code anymore. But when doors open out, the hinges are on the outside. Some people are afraid, well, they can just pop those hinge pins and pull my door off. So there's some things you can do. You can get, either hinges with non-removable pins. So it's something you can look at on your front door. Can you pop that hinge pin out? If you can, look into changing your hinges. Or you can add other items, to the back of your door I'm getting deep here in the weeds, but there's other items that can prevent that as well. We can add to your door.
Awesome. And, as far as keypad locks or any of that, do you guys do that as well or no?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like those Schlage has a new one out. I think it's out in less than a year. It's called the Encode, ENCODE. If you're handy, you can buy it from Home Depot and do it yourself. You just take your old deadbolt off. You buy that lock, you put it on your door, and you read the instructions. You can connect it to your Wi-Fi. But if you're not handy, we can do that for you as well. We'll sell the lock also, and we'll
like the garage openers too with the keypads or no?
No, we don't do those.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we don't. No, and nothing with the overhead door. We don't do anything with that. But the door that leads into your house from the garage, yeah, we'll work on that. But no, not the keypads for your garage doors.
Okay. You know, I wanted to ask you a little bit about safe too, and about the safes, because you talked about it, and I think it's something important, right? Especially you mentioned if you have kids like I do, you know, like I know that you do too. So if you have guns at home, the importance of having safes and different safes that are for guns, right? You have those that you put your fingers in, takes your fingerprints and open up. You have smaller ones. I kind of wanted to see if you could cover a little bit what, in your opinion, would be good, you know, safes to have a home if you have a gun.
Yeah, well, and even if you don't have a gun, I mean, you know, if a person wants in your home, they always have the windows to go through. And so, I mean, yeah, you can get hurricane glass, but if they have enough time, they're going to figure out a way to get in your home, and they do enough damage, they'll get through something. And so, if you're not at home, a way you can just protect your belongings is the more valuable stuff. Just put it in your safe. Get a big enough safe, but put it in your safe, and that way you're rest assured that if a criminal does get in, does bypass all the other things, and they take a TV and, you know, your dishes, but your valuable stuff is inside your safe. As far as kids, yeah, we have pistol safes that are at the very least, if you have guns, get the little cheap keyed pistol box. They start at like $30-$40, and it's got a key to it. And so the kid can, you know, they can have the safe all they want in their hands. They're not getting into it because they don't have the key. But at the very least, do that. If you want something a little more advanced, you can get the fingerprint and biometric ones. We have those as well. We're a dealer for numerous safe brands, but one of them we like to talk about is Liberty safes. The big gun safes that we have in our showroom are all Liberty safes, and we have the Liberty pistol boxes. So you can go on their website and see all the different ones they have. They have everything for gun safes.
I want to continue with this topic, because I have a question of something that always comes up in conversations when we talk about having guns, and you know, maybe here it'll be more your expertise as a cop, but you know, a lot of times, you know, when you think of when you talk about owning a gun or having a gun and having it as safe, you know, people say sometimes the argument is, well, if you have it in a safe, someone walks in your house, what are you going to say? Stop, you know, I'm going to open my safe and get the gun out to be able to protect yourself, which I guess it's a valid point, right? Like, but at the same time, you know, I think most of the time you're not in movie situations where someone is walking in with a gun, you know, pointed at you. So I wanted to understand your view on that when people make their argument. How, you know, how do you counter that argument, I guess?
I mean, if you have kids in your house, I don't care. Get the safe. If you're a bachelor, you're by yourself, nobody comes to visit you, no kids are coming in your house, okay, fine, put it in your nightstand drawer. But the safes nowadays, you can, yeah, the keyed ones, you have to find the key. That's one thing. But you have, you know, they have ones with codes. You hit 4 buttons, boom, 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 it pops open. Or the fingerprint one, you just slide your finger in, it pops open. You could have that next to your, you know, on your nightstand or your nightstand drawer. You could have a couple of them throughout the house, you know, for convenience. If you're that worried about, you know, getting to your gun fast, you know, you can have a couple of them placed discreetly throughout your house. But yeah, unfortunately, if you have kids, they're gonna find it one day, and you need to make sure it's in there. So that's why you keep your doors locked, so you can hear them trying to break in, and you have enough time to get to that safe and open it up. So at least the doors are given, you know, you get a few minutes of a leeway to go get that gun.
Yeah, and here in my house we have an alarm system that it's really, really good. It's called 4 Dogs. We have 4 dogs, and if someone steps in front of my house,
yeah,
you can hear the dogs from far away.
That works too. Absolutely. So, absolutely. And not to bash regular alarm systems, but regular alarm systems, they're a deterrent as to it, especially when you're not home. The criminal just wants to get in and out real quick, and he doesn't want to mess with the safe. And so, but alarm systems are absolutely, you know, I would say a necessity too.
Yeah.
We don't do those, unfortunately.
I wanted to ask, people that are looking to get to know a little bit more about you guys and see the products that you have. You mentioned you have a couple showrooms, and then, I wanted to see if you could tell us where they are, and then also information about not only your physical locations, but website, phone numbers, social media handles as well.
Yeah. So, like you said, we have 2 showrooms. We also have 5 trucks on the road, so we can always come to you. Coronavirus, sometimes people don't want to go out, so we can come to you, and we're fully masked and everything. But back to our showrooms, yeah, we have one in North Naples across the street from Mercado. So it's on US 41, just 1 block north of Vanderbilt Beach Road. If you've seen the Trek Bicycle Store right across the street, or Rib City, we're just south of Rib City. We're in the same plaza as the Trek Bicycle Store. That's our main location, where our hub is for our technicians on the road, and that's where we have the more quantity of safes and locks. And then our South Naples location is, if you know where Red Lobster is down in Naples, or Coastland Mall, a couple blocks north of Coastland Mall.
Yep.
We're on the east side, so if you're going north on 41 on the right side, we're in the same plaza as, there's a Lens Crafters, there's a KB Furniture patio store. Yep. We're in that plaza on the east side of 41. That store still has a full showroom with safes, and he can, we cut, oh, by the way, we cut keys. That's something we do almost, numerous times a day. People bring the keys, but you can go in there and get the keys cut. And he has the basic inventory of locks that you can purchase from him as well. But if you just want to look at safes, that's really what that store focuses on, is the safe sales.
Okay. And then website?
Yeah, A Locksmith Naples. Make sure you add the Naples in there. ALocksmithNaples.com. Our phone number is 239-597-8855. If you're ever locked out of your car or your house at night, even 3 a.m. in the morning, you call us, someone will answer, and we can get a technician out to you. We'll get you into your home or into your car, if you lock your keys in your car, at any 24/7, every day of the year. We do that service as well. So 239-597-8855. As far as Facebook and Twitter, I'm not a social media person, but my wife is one who does all that. I think the Instagram is at A Locksmith Naples.
Yeah, the same.
Then,
yeah, I think they're both the same. Yeah. So.
And then our Facebook, you just type in A Locksmith Naples, Florida on Facebook, and you'll find us on there. You'll see our logo.
Yep. The one question I had, you mentioned about cutting keys. Do you cut car keys as well, or just home keys?
Yeah. Now, if you've lost all of your keys completely, we'll refer you to someone else. But if you still have a working key, we can clone most, not all, most car keys. We have, Mercedes, BMWs, Ferraris. They have their own special systems. We don't deal with those. But your average car out there, Fords, Hondas, Chevys, all those average cars, we do those. Yeah, bring your current working key and your vehicle to our north showroom up by Mercado, and we can clone most of those keys. We'll just cut you in. We have a good amount of stock there. If we don't have your key blank in stock, we can always order it. But yeah, we'll cut it and program it. Most keys nowadays have transponder chips in them, so we have to program as well. We do that. Awesome.
My other question for you was, you kind of touched upon it a little bit here when you mentioned the Corona situation, and I wanted to ask, it's something I ask everybody that comes here on the show, how much has, COVID-19 affected you guys? I mean, have you, I've talked to a lot of businesses, and, some have affected them actually positively, others negatively, others no effect at all. And I was wondering, what has affected and what changes did you guys have to make?
Yeah, we definitely felt the slowdown starting in April. April and May were very slow for us. And the main reason is because that's season. And so tourists weren't coming. Some of the snowbirds, weren't here. And a lot of the job sites, especially the condo associations, they banned all contractors, all workers from coming to their condos. And so a lot of things just got put off on hold for a couple months. And so, April, May was very slow. But, we still kept all the guys, all the technicians, we didn't cut any hours. And even though it was a little harder, but we didn't cut any hours, and we kept them all. And then I think, the Corona fatigue set in, and all the job sites opened back up in June. and everyone just said, you know what, just come on, we got to get this stuff done. So June was a very busy month for us. And also, you know, with a lot of the, with national news, a lot of the protests happening, people, you know, were rightfully, you know, a little more on edge, and they bought a lot of safes in June as well. So we sold a good amount of safes in June. And so June was extremely busy, and July, I would say, is back to normal again. So we fared okay through it. As far as our policies, all of our technicians have masks. All of our technicians have hand sanitizer. They wear their masks, not when they're driving, of course, but when they step out of the car, enter onto the property, they put their mask on. All of our technicians in our showrooms, you know, the salesmen, they have masks as well, so we wear those inside our showrooms as well. And we have hand sanitizer on the countertops available for anyone to use. We use it all the time. We regularly disinfect the door handles and any common areas where the customers are around.
Awesome. So anyone looking to get, you know, a lock replaced or anything should not worry about it. Obviously, you're taking all the measures necessary to ensure that people are safe.
Yeah, and our job is naturally a socially distant job. We kind of stay outside. I mean, yeah, we have to hand you the bill at the end. Yeah. But other than that, you don't have to come near us. We stay at the door. We don't even enter your home unless you want to do work on interior doors. But 9 times out of 10, we're just working on your front door. So we're outside, you know, working on the door. We go to our van. We take the locks to our van, and we rekey them in our van, and then we come back, put it on the door. So, you know, fortunately, naturally, we're socially distant regardless. But yeah, absolutely. We're wearing the masks now. We're always sanitizing. So we're doing everything we can to stay clean and safe.
Awesome. Well, you know, towards the end of the live, yeah, what I'd like to do is kind of, you know, handle the show over to you and let you give a message to, you know, current customers, past customers, future customers, you know, kind of open canvas for you to leave whatever message you want to say to people there. So, you know, I'll give the floor to you and allow you to give the message.
Yeah. Well, first, I want to thank you for doing this. This is great that you're doing this for local businesses. Really appreciate that. And I know a lot of other businesses are struggling probably more than we are, and so I appreciate that you're doing that for them as well. Outside of that, there is a lot of competition out there in the locksmith world. Unfortunately, in the state of Florida, anyone can start a corporation, start their own LLC, and call themselves a locksmith company and get a van and go out there and do locksmith work. And it's unregulated. There's no licensing, there's no background checks that are required in the state of Florida. So be careful when you're choosing locksmith companies. And I know this for a fact, there's several locksmith owners that have arrest records. It's just, that's how it is in Florida. So be careful when you're choosing. Don't always choose the cheapest guy, because sometimes, you know, when they'll give you a quote over the phone, that's not what it really ends up being when they come and destroy all your locks, so they don't know what they're doing, and then they have to charge you hundreds of dollars more than they originally quoted you. So just be careful about that. We're not the cheapest in town. I don't advertise being the cheapest. We are fully licensed, bonded, and insured. I pay all my employees a great wage, and they all have full benefits. And so we have to, you know, charge a little more to do that. So there are cheaper guys out there who are, you know, not fully trained, that will do the job cheaper. Just be careful with them. That's one thing I got to say about the locksmith industry that not everyone knows. They think a locksmith is a locksmith, and that's not the case. Rekey your home if you haven't done that yet. And if you're renting, rekey your home, and then, you know, if the owner doesn't allow you to do that, rekey it anyway, and then when you're getting ready when your lease is up and you're getting ready to move back, you can always rekey it back to the old key. Just keep the old key in your house somewhere. You can always match it back to the old key. But rekey your homes, whether you're renting or definitely if you own. Just that's the most simple thing I would say to everyone, because you never know who has the old keys out there. And let's see. Yeah, that's about it for now. It's the 2 messages I want to get out there is be careful when you hire locksmiths and rekey your house.
Yeah, I mean, the rekeying my house was something I never thought of it when I purchased it. Now you got me second guessing myself. So
Yeah, because you have the best lock in the world, but if someone has the key,
I know that does you no good. Absolutely. So, well, Andrew, I wanted to once again thank you so much for taking the time, telling us a little bit about you, about your family business, and a little bit about locksmithing, because it's something, like you said it, I don't think a lot of people know about it, right? And I think a lot of people don't have you know, the right information sometimes to make the right decisions too, just because they're not familiar. It's something that you know, quite honestly, you don't think about it until you need it, right? It's
exactly.
and then you need it, and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And you know,
Yep.
so I thought this was very good and very informative too, so that people can learn a little bit more. And I'm sure you're open that if people have questions or anything, they can always call and ask questions. And
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can contact us. You can email me. My email is easy. Andrew at a locksmith Naples. Make sure to add the Naples. alocksmithnaples.com. Yeah, I'll answer all those questions. Absolutely.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for your time. And, you know, hopefully, you know, I'll see you soon. Maybe changing my locks here on my house.
Sounds good. Thanks, Felipe.
All right. Take care. Have a good night.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.